And we're live here at the station of decapitation. I am Nasty Neal, and I'm joined by. You can introduce yourself. I probably should have told you that beforehand if I was
I
professional.
I am Kaylee from Once Over with Kaylee.
Yeah. And it's very cool to
Yay.
have you here.
I'm
It's been
so
nice
excited to be
chatting
here.
with you. Yeah.
Yes.
So we're here to review Good Boy, which this is the description from IMDb. A loyal dog moves to a rural family home with his owner, only to discover supernatural forces lurking in the shadows. As dark entities threaten his human companion, the brave pup must fight to protect the one he loves most.
It's a dog movie. I love it so much already.
Yeah, I'm a big animal lover. Hopefully, most people watching are. And yeah, it's you cannot feel sympathy. You cannot not feel sympathy for Indy. He's amazing in the movie.
Absolutely outstanding. The amount of emotion that this dog exerts for just being a dog. I mean, even there's like shots of his eyes at moments where you're just mesmerized by all of the feeling that you have for this dog. You can feel what the dog is feeling. Indy is so wonderful and sensitive.
Yeah, no, so I think you have to both give Indy credit and the filmmakers because every shot, you know what the dog's feeling. You know when he's inquisitive. You know when he's feeling uneasy. You know when he's worried about his owner. It's shot great, and because there's not a lot of dialogue in the movie.
No, hardly any. And you hardly ever see any of the human actors either. This movie really truly is all about Indy the dog.
Yeah, and it's cool that way because that's also shot low, so it's like the point of view from the dog. You're always like low to the ground, and a lot of times you don't see the faces, so you can't tell exactly what they're thinking. It's truly from the point of view of the dog.
Yeah. Yeah, and you mentioned the filmmaker also really being incredibly important to the dog's performance. I was reading that so the dog Indy actually belongs to the director of this movie, and he shot this film over a 3-year period in order to be able to get Indy's performance exactly right, so that he wasn't using multiple dogs. Because of course, a lot of the time when we see movies that have animal actors in them, they are using two different dogs or three different dogs, and this is just Indy all the way through, which is amazing.
Yeah, and I saw it was him and his wife. His wife produced it, and they actually even named their company. Let me grab it here. It's something after dog, which I thought was wild. In 3 years, sometimes people say they made a movie over 3 years and like they shot something and then like months later they go back. But I assume this was really, took it was a labor of love to get all the shots.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And it's kind of intimidating. So to film a movie over 3 years when your dog is the main character of that movie, we all hate to admit it, but animals do pass on and they do
I was
die.
thinking the same thing, and I didn't even want to bring it up, but
I would be so scared if I was making this beautiful love letter to my dog and
mhm.
I knew it was going to take a really long time to film and I was taking my time with it. I would be so terrified that something would happen to my dog during that time.
And then what would you do? Like it's like
What do you do?
part of you wouldn't even want to finish it, I think. And then like how do you finish it? Because you'd have to find a dog looks just like your dog.
It would be way too emotional. There's no way
Yeah,
that this movie would have been finished. And you know what? Honestly, the director probably never even would have been able to watch back the footage. He would have been so emotional about you wouldn't be able to do it. The movie would be over if that had happened. So thank goodness that Indy is doing well and is wonderful and very good boy. He's such a good boy.
yeah, it's a perfect name. And I don't know because I know he played a lot of festivals. I wonder if Indy got like nominated for Best Actor in any of them because I think Indy deserves it.
Yeah. Oh, he does. He really, truly does. I always like to think about like the best animal actors in films. And I think that the best cat actor for me is for sure the cat in what is it? The Girl Walks Home Alone at Night.
Oh
And I
yeah, yeah.
think you got the seagull in The Shallows, absolutely incredible. And Indy far and away has got to be the best dog actor.
I would 100% agree because like Cujo's a good movie, but honestly, the dog looks really friendly in the movie when you're watching it. Uh, as far as animal movies, I think actually Babe Part Two, like the monkeys in that movie. But yeah, I think Best Dog is definitely Good Boy.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, even think about like the movies things like Air Bud and Beethoven, those movies have dogs. The dog is the main focus. The dog is I don't remember feeling the feels for either of those dogs. I'm sure I did when I was a child, but it wasn't anything super exciting. And that you have other dogs that like maybe I felt a little bit more for, like Chance and Homeward Bound. And I loved Milo in The Mask.
Yes,
He
yeah.
was one of my favorite dog actors, but I just don't think that anything will ever compare to Indy and this performance that we got from this very good boy.
And Milo and Stitch, I think that's the name of it, right? With the dog and the cat.
Yeah.
That's great. But if you ever watch like how it's made, like they actually like hurt the
Yeah.
animals, which makes you
Yeah.
really not really want to enjoy the movie. But knowing that this is his dog, their dog, like you know that the dog was treated well, so you're not going to feel
Yeah.
bad. Like, oh, I wonder what they did to Indy to get this performance from Indy.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
It's a truly indie film.
you can tell that this is a labor of love both for the director and for Indy.
Mm-hmm. We'll get to say some super chats here. I'll get to them in a little bit, and I appreciate everyone here. Hit the like button and subscribe and all those things. But I found the name. It's "What's Wrong with Your Dog" is what
Mm.
Ben and Carrie they named their production company.
Which is great. What a great name.
Yeah, yeah. So you know, it's good boy. The dog's completely devoted to. I hate even saying his master because like I guess it's a master, but see, I mean, I don't want to call the guy his master, but he's completely devoted to him. And even when he's not necessarily, he's never like really mean, but he to Indy. But even when he's not great to Indy, like you can still tell like he's loyal to the guy.
Yes. Yeah. And you know, Todd is in kind of an interesting Todd, his master, is kind of in an interesting position because he is sick. We know that he is sick. We know that he is dealing with some serious health issues. And sometimes sometimes there are these moments of connection between Todd and Indy where you can see that Todd really wants to have this love with Indy, but he almost can't handle it because of his own health issues. So there are times when he asks Indy to sleep on the floor because he literally can't be around his pet. And I think that we as pet lovers have all experienced something like that. You're not feeling well and your pet is nagging you and trying
And
to
your
cuddle
dog,
you.
and a lot of
And
times your animal knows too. Like it
yeah,
knows when you're not well. Like it wants to comfort you,
yeah, this
especially
this
then.
this movie is absolutely about the instincts of a dog
Mm-hmm.
more than anything, I think.
And there's a lot of mystery what's even going on in the movie, which I normally like anyway. I kind of like 70s films where things aren't spelt out for you. So you don't really even know what's wrong with the guy, like initially, or you don't know a lot of what happens in the movie. But not only do I just like that, like I said, but it totally works here because it's from the point of view of the dog. So the dog's gonna not know exactly what's going on, and that also doesn't take away from the movie. So I'm never like I need to know more of exactly what's happening here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really successful both to have it be from the point of view of the dog and what I wasn't expecting at all within this film that I thought was really exciting was because we got point of view from the dog, we also got things like the dog's dreams. There's like
Mm.
many dream sequences where Indy is like waking up from a nightmare and we don't frequently think about our pets having those kind of experiences, but that is the experience of Indy and we get to
Yeah,
see it and it's really cool.
it is. And anyone who's had a dog or even a cat, that they have bad dreams sometimes because they'll be sleeping and they'll be
Yeah.
shaking and they'll be making noise and they'll wake up from it. And I also think there's like clues throughout the movie because like there's a hunter guy, but Indy likes him. And at first when you see him, you think, oh, this must be an evil guy. But usually a good rule is if an animal likes somebody, they're a good person.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that is definitely the rule. I don't know that I feel like Todd, the master of Indy, that we got enough information about him to really truly know if he's a good person. The most thing that we got, like the biggest character trait that we have of his,
Mm-hmm.
is that he is sick, he's not doing well, and he wants to isolate. He's isolating himself from his family. He is ignoring phone calls from his sister Vera. He's like, I don't want anybody else to deal with me because I know I'm near the end.
He's more the plot point of the movie as opposed to like the actual main character, the man. And what I was saying though, like I think it's a little different when the owner, like your dog can be devoted to the owner even if it's not necessarily the greatest person. Sometimes I've known people who aren't great people, but their dogs or their pets are devoted to them. But when they first meet somebody, they usually have a good instinct if they're a good person or not.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. It's the perception. And Indy in particular in this movie is extremely perceptive. We get that right out the gate.
And again with the mystery, because at first you're not sure if this is all how Indy perceives things. Like you see a shadowy person, is that just a shadow? Is it something else? You see like some hands coming out. Is that just someone's hand coming out of the shadow, or is it something else? And so that works. Not that works as a horror movie because you're
Yeah.
not. You're not. You see that in other movies, and but it works better, I think, from the dog's point of view.
Oh, absolutely. This movie, it felt very similar. Actually, a lot of the feelings that I had when I was watching this felt similar to when I was watching Skinamarink.
Mm.
It's that same kind of nightmarish, you don't really know, nothing is really happening. Nothing really happens in this movie. There's no big, huge, I mean, there are big moments, but it's a lot of kind of nothingness, just seeing the world through the dog's eyes as the dog is feeling scared. And that's a lot about how I felt with Skinamarink, where I'm just kind of looking at corners of the screen. Nothing really is happening, but I'm terrified nonetheless. And I felt
Yeah.
very much
This
like that as I was watching Indy.
Yeah, this movie works better for me than Skinamarink, but
I,
I totally get what you're
I know
saying.
that Skinamarink is divisive. I saw Skinamarink in the theaters, and I think if
Yeah,
I had watched it at home, I would have hated it. But seeing it in the theaters was an incredible experience. I know a
it
lot of
was.
people hate that movie.
Yeah, it was funny. Actually, on the live show, someone in the chat they were like, "Oh, what did you think of Skinamarink?" And we're like, and then it turned out she was in the movie, Jamie Hill, and I was like, "Oh, sorry about that." But we invited her on the show, and she's like, and she was a good interview, and basically just
Yeah,
told me I didn't understand the movie. So,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I
That's
need to
so
read
funny.
it. Yeah. I actually put in that to me was similar to History of Violence. Um,
Oh yeah.
I mean, what's the it's the slasher movie. Is that what it's called? History of Violence in a violent way. In a violent way. And is that what
Mm,
it's called? But it was told through the point of view of the slasher instead of the kids.
yes. Okay. I know what you're talking about. I have not seen that one, but
Yeah.
I can imagine that that would be very similar.
Yeah, it's a different movie. That one has like these big gore scenes and stuff. But I just thought it was interesting that they're doing a different take on like kind of a similar theme.
Yeah, yeah. The other movie that actually this reminded me of
In a
quite a bit,
violent
which I think
nature. In a violent nature.
was was also a Shudder movie, was it kind of had similar feelings to me as when evil where evil lurks. When
Mm,
evil where evil lurks. I can't remember the name of that one. That came out like a couple of years ago. That was
yeah.
very violent. But
Yeah.
again, this kind of it had like the same like guttural feel that that
Mhm.
movie had.
Yeah, I had the director of that on. That movie was great, and it's a lot of
Brutal.
taboos in that movie. Yeah,
I loved
I
that
saw that
movie.
one in
That
the
movie
theater
blew
too.
my mind.
Yeah, I had that as my favorite movie that year.
Yeah. Yeah, I
In a
think I did
Violent
too,
Nature. Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
Thank you, Rob K. I'll get to a couple of these Canadian horror. I'll ask these. Let's see. Since you guys paid, Paul Lynn Cayley, the people want to know the truth about Looney Tunes critic. What did he do or say to you? What did Shuli ban him? Why did Shuli
Uh,
ban him for you?
I will answer that. I
Uh,
don't think that he did or said anything to me. We did used to talk sometimes, and I actually did not see him at Dabble House. I know that there are a lot of rumors that something happened at Dabble House between he and I. He and I were never in the same place at the same time. I was still flying in when he was hanging out. And as for the Shuli question, I have no idea. I'm not Shuli, so I can't answer that.
ugly pock scarred ghoul. Kaylee, Rob Saul said you're beautiful. Go date him. I don't think that's even a
I,
question.
I was not aware of that, but I will not be dating Rob Saul anytime soon.
Sorry, Rob. Kaylee, has Shuli ever made a pass at you?
No, never. Never. We have so many incredible guys that are in our little Dabbleverse, and they're all always really, really wonderful to me. I feel very fortunate to be surrounded by such a great group of guys.
That's good. Cayley physically recoiled when Zen placed his grubby door dashing hands on you at DabbleCon. Why didn't you say don't touch me?
Did I really? That's really funny. I had no idea that I did that. I guess he had grubby door dashing hands is why I did that. I don't know.
Noga, is there any nudity in the dog movie? Well, I mean, Indy's not dressed, so I guess that technically is.
The other dog in the movie is wearing a bandana though.
That's true.
So,
That's yeah, that's true. Indy's got no shame. He's just the nude
yes.
throughout the movie. Do you personal thoughts on clothes for animals?
No. Oh my God, no. I will say though, my boss used to dress up. She had a Pomeranian that she would bring to the office every day, and during the month of October, she would put him in a different Halloween costume every day, and I did really love that. It was fun to see what his Halloween costume would be. That said, any other situation, no clothes for dogs. What about you?
Well, so my dog that I had over 20 years, Aldo. So I don't even know how old he really was because I got him. This old woman was moving out of town, and so she had to find a home for him. And he came with all these clothes that she actually made for him. And he loved. He was always cold, so he would actually jump into the
He
sweaters
wanted
and
it.
yeah. So before that, I probably would have been like, nah. But he really loved them. He had actually a little snow coat that had a zipper, and he loved that. But he hated the booties, like the little mittens. He hated those,
He
and
would
any
shake him
kind of
off like
hats.
this.
Yeah, he was not a fan of those. But so he
I
did love the
I
sweaters. So
I tried to put my cat in sweaters when he was a kitten because I'm an asshole. I don't even like that. I just think it's funny. Like it looks funny. And
uh,
he did not have it at all. So I gave up on that pretty quick.
yeah, I don't think I've ever tried to put a cat in clothes. Even
They
trying to
don't
give a
like it.
cat a bath usually is not a good time.
My cat loves the water. So
Really?
he's a bath boy. He wants to be in the water all the time. He's a very weird cat.
Yeah, I had many cats throughout my life, and the one I had Faye for over 20 years, and none of them liked water at all.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you'd have to give him a bath for try to keep fleas away, but it was you'd always get scratched up quite a bit.
Yeah.
Do you think you could make this movie with a cat? I'm a cat guy, so I'm not anti-cat or anything. But do you think it would? Could you capture emotion from the cat? Could
I think you can
it'd be a
capture
different kind of
emotion from
film?
the cat. And again, my example of that has got to be Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. That cat had so much emotion for me. However, I don't think that you could make this movie with a cat because I think that a big part of what makes this movie a success is the loyalty that Indy has to
Hmm.
Todd. And I think that if that didn't exist, then this movie would be a complete failure. And I think that cats have a lot less loyalty. They're like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
distracted over here. Let me go play with this.
Uh-huh. And it was cool because they even had on the TV a little bit. It was like the history of dog and man, like showing about like cavemen making friends with dogs it's just like I thought that was cool to have in the background. They're not necessarily hitting you over the head. And also then it made me think, oh, this movie is like universal because you could be from any country and I think you'd get it. It would connect to you.
I completely agree. I actually really loved the use of the TV. I'm always really interested whenever I'm watching a movie and they're watching a movie in that movie. And in Good Boy, we get to see um, a lot of like home videos on the
Mhm.
TV screen. We get to really experience. We see some movies. We see, like you said, the history of dog and man and caveman days. And it's so interesting to me because it always reminds me that we as movie watchers are voyeurs. And this movie felt very voyeuristic because it's a point of view movie. We're getting to see everything through Indy's point of view. So it already feels like voyeurism off the bat. But in addition to that, us not really getting to connect with the people unless they're on a TV screen. Almost always, people's faces are obscured in this movie. I think one of the best shots that we get of Todd's face is a reflection on the TV screen of his face. We're watching him watch himself cry, and that's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking and stunning and beautiful and retrospective and introspective, you know?
Yeah, agreed. And then the whole idea of what's playing in the background in other movies, you always also wonder, like, why did they pick that? It has to have some kind of meaning. Like, you wouldn't just pick some random. The dog thing's obvious, but in something else, like you like, well, why did they pick this certain movie to play in the background? There has to be some type of connection to it.
Yeah. I don't think that I recognized any of the movies that they were playing in the background. I think they were all fake movies. Did you recognize any of them?
Um, I think I did. I don't know, honestly. Now that I think about it, I thought there was something I did recognize. I thought maybe it was Night of the Living Dead at one point, but I'm not positive.
Yeah. Speaking of Night of the Living Dead, I gotta say, so I like to go into movies not knowing anything. So I knew
I agree.
nothing going into Good Boy. The only thing that I knew was I saw the poster. So I
Yeah.
figured that this was a zombie dog movie. That's where I thought we were going with this. I was vastly, vastly wrong. That was not at all
Yeah.
what we got here.
That's something we agree on too. Is sometimes you can't avoid the trailers, especially if you go to the theater. Like they show half-hour trailers. Sometimes I'll try to time it so I miss all of them because they give away so much. And I do think
I
you
hate
enjoy
it.
something more if you go in totally blind, not really knowing anything about it.
Yes, I love if I can go into a movie without knowing the director, without knowing any of the actors, without knowing the plot, without knowing the genre, that is the happiest that I am.
Yeah, that's why I do a lot of festivals and it's fun. Usually horror movies, so I know they're horror movies, but or they'll be underground, so it'll be something weird. But it's fun because like I'll know nothing about them, and
Yeah.
and sometimes I wish I didn't know anything about them, but I wish I never watched them. But usually it's a fun experience.
Yeah.
And have you done like festivals? Have you ever gone to movie festivals?
Yeah, I've gone to a couple. I used to go to Fantastic Fest pretty frequently. I really like the atmosphere of Fantastic Fest because
That's
it
in
is in
Texas.
Austin. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's smaller, and so you get a lot of the same movies that you're getting at the bigger festivals like South by Southwest, like at TIFF, but you don't have to deal quite so much with the crowds. That festival has gotten too big for me. I'm not a big crowds person, so I tend to avoid them. My favorite film festival was actually, it does not exist anymore, but there was an Ithaca International Film Festival, and it was a genre film festival, and it was truly incredible, absolutely amazing. I wish that they would bring that back.
Is it a one screen? Because I some of the bigger festivals, like I said, there's so many people and there's multiple screens. There's something to me about everyone watching all the same movies on one screen. There's like a community feel to it, and like if it's
Yeah,
over days, it's like everyone survived the festival. Like you've watched like 5 days of movies together. And
yeah.
then if you go every year, like I said, there's like community feel, like, oh, you see the same people. Maybe they had a short one year, they have a feature the next year, and it's fun to do.
Yeah, Ithaca International was at Cinemapolis, which is a really great movie theater. And it has, I want to say, maybe four screens in there. So they had four-ish
Yeah,
screens, but they would stagger the movies. So a lot of it was you were all sitting with the same people. You were kind of getting to see the same faces. You were all coming out of the movies talking about them together. And it was again, it was that community sort of feel, which that's one of the reasons I'm not so interested in the bigger festivals because I like that.
yeah. So when I had my first feature film, it premiered at Fright Fest in London, which is a really big festival. And that's cool, but it's not only it's like 12 screens in the main theater, then it's like multiple screens in the second theater. So everyone's also, and you literally can't watch everything together because they're competing against each other.
Yeah.
And it's cool to be there, but it's not the greatest experience, honestly. And then for my favorite is Boston Underground Film Festival. It's all in this one fairly small, very old theater, the Brattle Theater. And like I said, there's just something about you're there every day watching the movies together with everybody.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I would have, I bet this is a really fun experience in a theater
Oh, yes.
because it's very visual. It's shot so well. It's a really beautiful looking film.
It is absolutely stunning. The colors are so interesting. We get these all like beautiful, crispy yellow colors. We get lots of blues. There are so many scenes when it's raining, and so you get to see kind of the muck. There's this one shot that I just keep thinking about where Todd, the owner of Indy, kind of fades into the background. He's wearing like jeans, and his pants kind of fade into the gray of the dirt, and then his black shirt kind of fades into into the black of the trees that are behind him. And it's so stunningly beautiful. I assumed that this was shot digitally, but there were moments in how gorgeously it was shot that I thought it was shot in 35 or 70 millimeter, because it was just so stunning. I don't know how they accomplished this, but it was gorgeous.
Yeah, I would think it would almost have to be shot digitally, just because like doing it for over 3 years, like you would have it would have been like a huge expense just getting all the film. You know what I mean? But yeah, but
Yeah,
it definitely looks like it. Yeah, it's a very cinematic movie,
very cinematic.
even
And
though
again,
it's
those
through the point of view of the dog and it's shot upwards a lot. But and you think maybe it's not visually like appealing, but it 100% is.
yeah. I also thought also getting the shots from the point of view of the dog, it's interesting because they could have relied on that so much more, but instead, so frequently, Indy is actually in the shots. And that was
Hmm.
such a bold decision. We all know the story about in Jaws, using the point of view of the shark swimming because they were having so many issues with Bruce the shark. They could have done that in this movie. They could have left Indy out of so many of these shots, and they chose not to. It's a challenging decision, and it paid off so much. And especially for a debut feature film, this is outstandingly good.
Yeah, that's a good point too, because we keep saying point of view, so I don't want people to think like it's all like you're looking through the eyes of the dog. And if you didn't show Indy so much, like it would really take away from the movie, because he's the heart of the movie and the emotion of the movie. Just
Yeah,
seeing his face.
yeah.
What is that shirt actually? Is that Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
It is. It's my
Uh,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre shirt from Freight Rags, which is actually based out of Rochester, but I think that they're pretty well known at this point.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I live near where Jaws was shot,
That's
so
awesome.
it all goes together. I guess. But I wanted to mention Larry Fessenden's in the movie, and again,
Yes.
like we brought up, like neither of us really knew anything about the movie besides it's a dog movie, and so when Larry popped up, I had no idea he was in the movie, and I'm a big Larry Fessenden fan, so I was really happy about that. He's probably, yeah, I would say he's the only like noticeable person in the movie. Like everyone else, like I didn't know. So when he pops up, I was happy, and he's also excellent in the movie.
Yeah, I was so surprised to see him and so excited. I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." Like, I had no idea. Again, like we were talking about, I don't like to really know a lot of information about a movie before I go into watching it. So I had no idea that he was in it. And he has a relatively small role, but he did such an excellent job in that role. He did all of the things that he needed to accomplish without overtaking the star Indy. It was
Yeah, yeah.
great.
Yeah, at that point, it kind of starts to get like an Evil Dead kind of vibe to the movie.
Yes.
And I thought maybe it would go, which it does go into that, but it doesn't go to Evil Dead territory where you're getting the deadites or popping around and I'm gonna eat your soul kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Larry's great. I'm a big fan, and I'm looking forward to his new movie. If any Larry Fessenden fans out there, it's his three his Habit, his vampire movie, Depraved, his Frankenstein movie, and Blackout, his werewolf movie, and all three characters will be in this together, interacting in some way. So,
So cool.
yeah, and he's been on the show many times. He's a really cool guy.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, it's his first feature film, and like you said, it's an amazing accomplishment for his first feature. And I'm really curious to watch his short films if they're out there, because I saw he's made a lot of short films.
Yeah, I'm curious about that too. And actually, I should even clarify, I was also very surprised to learn about Good Boy that it was only just over 70 minutes.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it is technically a feature, but we're so used to, we live in this age where everybody does these 90-minute movies. It has to be at least 90 minutes. At some point, Hollywood decided that the standard for how much time people need in order to feel like they got their money's worth was 90 minutes. I love a shorter movie. I
I do
love it.
too.
We accomplished exactly what we needed to in Good Boy. We didn't need to go any longer than those 72 or 73 minutes, however long it is. It was the perfect length of time. It never dragged. I was always excited. I was always on the edge of my seat. And I it's really important to talk about how incredible and sort of bold it is to do that, because it's so infrequent that we see something under 90 minutes, especially right now. Everybody's doing these 3 hour long movies. That's like the new
Yeah, I
trend.
go to the movies a lot, and like, yeah, I'm like, oh, does this movie need to be 3 hours? And usually it doesn't. I don't think it helps the movie. It's just longer
Yeah.
content, I guess. And I do think if it was padded out more, it might start to drag, and it doesn't at all. And it's so there's a lot of tension in the movie, and if I always think like a movie should be as long as it needs to be. So
Yes.
I've seen 3 hour movies that I like, and I've that don't seem like they drag, and I've seen hour and a half movies that do drag that should have been shorter. And so yeah, this was the exact time it needed to be. Like you're into it the whole time. You're never like looking at your watch,
Yeah.
and then when it ends, you're like, you're kind of sad it's ended. And
Yeah. It was, I really think that this was near perfect in so many ways. I was just so excited and elated by this. I love again that like dog's eye view, but also getting to see the dog's experience with dreams. And I don't know that I've ever felt so connected to a dog that I've never met before.
that's a good point. Yeah, yeah. I've seen pictures of him and the dog, Ben and the dog, and Indy. I hope Indy realizes how good of a job Indy did.
Yeah, I suspect that Indy got a lot of treats for this movie, like 1,000 treats.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's really a movie that would lend to a sequel. I don't know, like what you would really accomplish with a sequel. But I am interested if like he does have a plan to do another movie with Indy.
I mean, again, I mentioned it before. We don't like to think about it, but the doggos do tend to die. I think he probably is aware of that. But I am really excited to see his next film. I mean,
I am
this was
too. Yeah.
such an exciting first take. And again, for me, it kind of had that Skinamarink feel where it's somebody coming from doing shorts and then moving into doing something like this, where it's just a very emotional experience for me. So I look forward to seeing what he moves on to do, even if it's not dog related.
Yeah, I
It's
think
such a
he. I
clever
really.
idea, you know?
Yeah, I think he really is. Sorry to interrupt you. I really think like you have to do something different, like because you can't. He doesn't want to be like I'm the dog guy. Not that there's
Yeah.
anything wrong with that either, but uh, and it's interesting. Like since he spent 3 years on this, to be like what else is from this guy? He's clearly very creative, but
He's very
so
creative.
unique. It's such a unique movie.
He's very creative, and also think about how committed you have to be to do this. I think that I also read in a recent article that he not only spent 3 years making this, but he also lived in the house where it was filmed so that he could get the good shots as they were kind of occurring in natural life. And that is a commitment. Like, that is, and anybody who is an artist, a filmmaker, anything that is willing to put that much into something, that's an incredible person. And I can't wait to see what they do next.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go back and like I said, I should have tried to watch him before we talk here. What his other shorts are about. If you could see any similarities. I don't mean like there's a dog in them, but just similarities as far as filmmaking.
Yeah.
Also, it's cool to see how someone's grown from like their shorts to a feature film.
Oh, absolutely. I definitely could see, I could imagine that Ben, as a director, has a lot of tropes because I could definitely see a lot of themes. Again, I mentioned already kind of getting to see the reflection of one of the human characters' faces in the TV. I could imagine that he has these little things that he does that are going to be his telltale signs as a director. And I think that we can probably see those, like you said, in the shorts. And I can't wait to see what he does in the next movie.
I'm interested in his connection to Larry because Larry's a very New York guy, and a lot of filmmakers have come out, through Larry. People that he's helped like in the business and went on to do a lot of stuff. So I don't know if like maybe his shorts he made with Larry before, or if he just asked him to do it and he was into the role.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I found Indy's a 35-pound golden retriever or retriever. Let's say golden retriever, middle aged. So yeah, I don't know, about a sequel. It does say special talents include finding tennis balls and staring deep into your
Ooh.
soul. And he loves to play fetch. and he loves food, which that's very unique for a dog that they love food.
Yeah, never any other dog. Indy's eyes are freaking perfect.
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
eyeballs, I could look into Indy's eyes all day. They're so animated.
yeah. And it's like I don't like you think okay, you're a dog person. I'm an animal person. If you just shot a dog, do you feel that way? And I think you obviously if you see a nice dog, you're gonna feel like emotion for it. But there I think still think it's a unique trait for Indy has a lot of charisma, a lot of us
Yes.
presence on film,
Yes,
and he knew and
absolutely.
Ben really knew how to capture it. If Ben was the one that actually shot him,
He truly did. Yeah, the tag team of those two together, and again Ben's wife also. The combination of what they were able to capture in this film, it's near impossible to do something like this. You know, you have moments where, you know, the character of Todd is saying things like come here or stay, and every single time that Indy does and follows Todd's commands, in my head I'm like, oh, good boy, like I'm saying it because I feel
yeah,
like I'm in the room with Indy. And that was the magic of what they captured in this film.
yeah. I'll get a couple of these here. Ugly Pock, Scarred Ghoul. Kaylee, are you legitimately afraid Stuttering John would harass or dox you if you used your real name in affidavit? Seems like a stretch.
I don't know that I am afraid of any particular person.
Very good, very good. I'm sorry to ask these.
No, I don't
No,
mind. I'm happy.
all right, okay, fine. Then, heard this movie narrated after Rob's maiden call true. Oh, Rob's a dog lover, so I think he would enjoy the movie.
Rob is a dog lover.
Yeah, and I will not hear the end of that because I laughed. But I see a vagina wrinkle here in the chat. She's a big dog lover as well. She has a horse too or something. But
Oh,
anyway,
that's
yeah,
cool.
I would recommend it 100% to anyone who's an animal lover. I'd recommend it to anybody. I guess if you're an animal hater, first of all, I probably don't want to be friends with you to begin with. But I guess that would be the only way that you probably shouldn't watch a movie.
I would definitely recommend this to pretty much anybody. The only people that I wouldn't recommend this to are people who don't deal well with tension in movies. There's a lot of tension. You mentioned the
Yeah.
shadows earlier. There's a lot of times where there's just kind of a shadowy figure and it feels it's that pit of your stomach sort of feel. So if you don't like that sort of tension, then this movie is not for you. But I think there are very few people that fall into that category. Almost everybody likes to feel
Yeah, if
something,
you're a
you know?
horror fan at all, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually, oddly enough, I just saw Jamie Hill. I'm streaming this on different sites, and she just liked it on Facebook. Who Jamie Hill is from Skinamarink, so it's
Oh,
a funny
awesome.
little coincidence. Yeah. So I just
Yay,
want to ask,
Skinamarink.
yeah, we'll have to debate Skinamarink sometime. I need to I will rewatch it. She
Do you
actually
know?
said
Okay,
it
wait.
works at home.
Before you rewatch Skinamarink, this is how you have to watch it. If you watch Skinamarink in any way other than this, you will hate it. You must watch Skinamarink with your phone put away. You must
Hmm.
not be eating popcorn. You must be sitting and only focusing on that screen. If you watch this with any distraction, if you watch that movie with any distraction whatsoever, you will not get the impact of it. When I saw it in theaters, and I had no distractions and there was no checking the time. There was no, you know, I didn't have any snacks with me. It broke my soul. I have never been more terrified in my entire life than watching that movie.
That was one of our reviewers on the site, Joe Needbala. That was his favorite movie of the year, and
Yeah.
but that's a good point because I think people, though, for any movie, they think the theater experience. They just talk about the big screen. Obviously, that's cool, and I think the sound's a big part. But it's also, unless you're an ass and you're taking out your phone, looking at your phone, you're caught in the movie. You can't really escape it. It's there. And I think that's a big part of for me what makes the theater experience
Yeah, I agree. And again,
special.
Skinamarink would be boring as all hell if you didn't completely immerse yourself in it. I
Mhm.
completely understand why people had a challenging time with that movie. It would be very, very boring if I was doing other things. But because I had to sit with these long, boring shots for so long, I all of a sudden started feeling
Yeah.
terrified and horrified, and it was very emotional for me.
Yeah, I've had friends that like Joe. He said that if you remember what it was like to be a kid, like not just a
Yes.
kid, but like
Yes.
like like a child, that it really hits you differently.
Yeah, and that is also one of the things that I feel like I connected so much with Good Boy, and why I kind of associated these two films right out the gate, because this, not that I know what it
You
feels
remember
like
what
to
it was like
be
to
a
be a dog,
dog.
right?
Yeah,
Right.
but it made you feel all of the feelings, like when you are such an animal lover, when you love your pet and you want to understand what they're feeling, and when they perk their head up, you want to understand what they saw. And that was what the feeling of Good Boy was, in the same way that the feeling of Skinamarink was, I'm afraid to get out of my bed to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. It was exactly the same feeling. I want to understand what my dog is thinking. I want to know what my dog's nightmares are. I want to have these experiences that are scary and yet important to the rest of my life.
I want to ask, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What makes that special for you?
Um, Texas Chainsaw was probably one of the first horror movies that I fell in love with, and it felt personal. Like, it felt it in the same kind of like with Good Boy. There's these moments of like, I'm there. I'm there. I can feel the feeling of existing in this universe, and I can feel myself running, and I can feel myself being afraid, and I can feel, and that is the most important thing to me always when it comes with film, is that I want to feel something. I don't care if that feeling is disgust. I don't care if that feeling is terror. I don't care if that feeling is joy. I just want to feel something. And so I think the first time that I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I was like, whoa, like sick to my stomach, just all of the visceral reactions. And it excited me so much. It was one of the first experiences that I had like that.
Yeah, I always think it feels like kind of dirty, like you shouldn't be watching it.
Yeah.
It's almost like, like
Yes.
you're watching something that someone filmed, like a home video or something. And I said the same thing about emotion, because I think art that evokes emotion, whether it's good or bad, that's what it's doing. So like I like a lot of like very disturbing movies, and people ask you like, well, why do you like that? And it's because it does make you feel something. It does. Watching a Serbian film, does it make me feel great? No, but it definitely makes you feel something. Same thing with music. Honestly, there's music that might put you in like a memory of not a great time in your life or whatever, but you still feel something. And I think that's I don't know if that's important or not, but it is
It's
something
the
that makes
zest of life. That is
yeah.
what makes life, that's what makes the world go round, is us experiencing emotions. And sometimes those emotions are good and sometimes they're bad. I maintain to this day, is it one of the best movies of all time? No, but I think that August Underground Mortem and all of Fred Vogel's movies are absolutely outstanding, because, oh my God, do I want to die when I'm watching them? They're horrifying and disgusting, and I don't know where reality ends and fake stuff starts. And I love that it messes with my mind in that way, because that's when you feel the true emotions about the world.
So one of the times I saw Texas Chainsaw, actually at the Coolidge Theater, Coolidge Corner Theater, it was a very bad 35 millimeter print. It was like aged and like kind of the colors weren't right, but it really added to the movie. And then that same
Yeah.
theater, I saw it was a restored version, digital, and it was really cleaned up, looked great. It was like shiny and bright, but it actually was not as a good of experience. Like I think actually took away from the movie. That's not every movie's. I'm sure most movies are better if they're cleaned up, but for that particular movie, if you see kind of a dirty version, it really adds
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah, it's like why people still like listening to vinyl. There's something
Right,
nice
right,
about the grit.
yeah. And also I think all the people, because like in all slashers, like it's like a group of good looking people. But I think they're like realistically good looking in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They're not like
Oh
it's
yeah.
not like, oh, these are supermodels that are not like
It
a normal person that you see in real life, yeah,
yeah,
which
I
can take
mean,
you out of
the
it.
one of the nice things about that kind of era of filmmaking was that everything was really realistic. We had these very sincere actors, and we don't always get that in filmmaking. People try to recapture it, and because of that, we get kind of a caricature of a caricature of a caricature of OG horror, and it doesn't always work. And Again, to bring it kind of back to Good Dog, or Good Boy, one of the things that I liked about it is that it had that sort of, not the grittiness. This was a very clean and beautiful
Hmm.
movie, but it had the same kind of feeling that I have when I'm talking about characters and my connection to them, in the sense that I'm feeling things for them. I don't know these people, and yet I feel like I could be friends with them, and maybe I could help them, and maybe I could do this, and that's what makes it all so exciting.
Yeah, and you don't really know exactly what's wrong with the guy initially, or ever.
Yeah.
Honestly, you don't know exactly what's happening as it goes on. And again, that feels like an old school movie too, where
Yeah.
they're not spelling everything out for you, and you're left up to your own imagination exactly what's happening.
Yeah, I love mystery. It's amazing.
Yeah. And I tell real quick about Texas Chainsaw Massacre too. Something that I think the sequels really miss is they fixate on Leatherface and not the family. And I don't think Leatherface by
Yes.
himself is really a very interesting character alone, but in the family dynamic, he is.
I could not agree with you more.
And what are your thoughts on the second movie? Because it's the first one I think actually has a lot of dark comedy in that I see when I get older, but the second movie is clearly like an overt comedy.
Yeah. I have only seen it once, maybe twice, and the reason for that is because I wasn't a huge fan. So I don't even know that I could make good commentary on it, because I'm like,
Yeah.
it was I watched it and then I never thought about it ever again.
Yeah, I really disliked it as a kid because it was so different. The first one's like a really uh, gritty movie, and then the second one's like it's almost like a parody of the first movie.
Yeah.
And then when I did
You know,
interviews like later on for it, like I rewatched it, and if you go in with the mindset knowing that, like it's enjoyable.
it's funny. I've never thought about this before. People always talk about, like, what's your favorite horror series? Are you a Friday the 13th person? Are you, Nightmare on Elm Street? Nobody ever talks about their least favorite, but the clear answer to that is Texas Chainsaw, right? Like,
Yeah.
I've never thought about that ever before. That's the answer. That's the worst series in the horror
Yeah,
series. Thanks.
I agree because like there's I think like a Nightmare on Elm Street, like there's really not any I think are really bad. They're all like
Yeah.
pretty good. But Texas Chainsaw, it's like first of all, like even if you tried to tell that in one like ongoing story, like it would make no sense whatsoever. Uh,
Yeah.
like it jumps around, it reboots itself, and then yeah, and then as a third one's okay. It's kind of like a typical slasher version of the first one, and then after that, like it really just falls apart.
Yeah.
Some of these later ones are really rough.
Yeah. I could not agree more. I didn't hate the remake. The remake was fine.
No, the remake's actually pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh, you
really
know what else?
dark.
Good boy.
I think just their mistake was like if they wanted to reboot as a franchise, like you probably shouldn't have cut Leatherface's arm off and kill
Yeah.
some of the characters.
Little bit of a misstep.
Yeah.
You know what else Good Boy also reminded me of, actually, was the remake of Maniac, with Elijah
That's a
Wood,
really good movie too.
um,
Yeah.
where that's one of my favorite remakes,
Hmm.
actually. And I love the original Maniac is one of my favorite
I
80s
love it
slasher
too.
films. So I was very surprised, and I really hated Elijah Wood at the time. So that was the movie that really sold me on him finally. But I loved how that was done in a point of view, and again, it was that point of view where you're experiencing something that you don't usually get to experience. So here we are in the Maniac point of view, and again, here we are in the Good Boy point of view. I struggle a lot of the time with point of view movies, but when they are done well, they are done so well.
Hmm. I'm glad you brought up a Maniac. I always think that's like a really overlooked remake because people tend to be like very anti remake, which I get because they do so many. But if it wasn't for remakes, you wouldn't have a lot of great movies. You wouldn't have John Carpenter's The Thing, but a
Yeah.
Maniac. Going in, I actually didn't hate him, but I was like, that's like he's so miscast. Like, why would you cast him as the main guy? But they used that as like made it a different movie because you can't make that same movie where it's like a good looking, like normal looking guy playing the role. And but I love the
No,
original one. I
you
saw
can't.
it in the
Yeah.
drive-in when I was a little kid, which is probably not like a great movie to see when you're 7 or 8, but it always stuck with me. It's another really gritty film.
Yeah,
What's the guy who
that was
played
one of the
Who's the guy who
first.
played Maniac? Go on, sorry.
I always forget everybody's names, but that was one of the first like horror films that I really truly fell in love with, more so even than Texas Chainsaw. Maniac was that was like when I was really falling. I was watching things like The Burning, and I was watching all these really crappy '80s slasher films and pieces, and I fell so deeply in love with that genre because of that grittiness.
Joe Spinell, I found it here. I cheated. I looked it up. Joe Spinell, because when I did a movie this summer, Our Man Funk, and Debbie Rashawn gave me this advice to Spinell it, which he's like, Joe Spinell was never afraid to be like sweaty and gross in a movie. So she's like, just Spinell it, because I played this pretty nasty character. And I took that advice to heart. I was like, all right. And I think I did a good job. But
Yeah,
I always Joe Spinell, when you see him on screen, he definitely like really like this is a real creep. Joe
yeah.
Spinell. I mean that in a good way, because he does
Yes.
his
Oh,
job in the
yes. Yeah,
movie.
I agree. I agree. I always think one of the most vile characters on film has got to be Harvey Keitel in Bad Lieutenant.
Oh yeah,
That's a
that's a
that's a really vile character. And what's his name? Michael Gambon in The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover. Evil,
you know what? I
evil,
you
evil,
mentioned this to
evil,
me in a
evil.
chat. I don't think I've seen this. I need to watch
Oh,
it.
it's so good. It's weird. Watch it like you're walking through an art museum, but it's really good.
The Baloney Factory. I love the 2013 Evil Dead. I liked it too. I wouldn't say I
I did
loved it,
too.
but I liked it. Yeah.
It
Uh,
was a cool flip the script.
yeah, because I think with Evil Dead, if you just like we're gonna find a new Ash, like
Yeah,
it's
it
impossible.
wouldn't
No
have
one's
worked.
gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like let's not have that character in the movie. Let's do a different take on it. Make a slightly. The original one is more of a horror movie. I know. As they go on, it's more like very like Looney Tunes. I think
Yeah.
like a horror movie of Looney Tunes or Looney Tune horror movie,
Silly.
however that
Yeah.
is that works. Yeah. And the Burning. I grew up in the '80s, and at the time, like you couldn't get it. It wasn't like available on home video, so I remember having a bootleg of The Burning, because it was like
Yep.
it was a real hard to get movie, and I watched that all the time as a kid. Because that was the one that people don't know. Tom Savini did the effects for it instead of I don't know if it was Friday 13th Part Two. One of the sequels he was going to do, but he didn't do, and he did The Burning instead.
Yeah.
But it's all similar stories. Oh yeah, Vagina Wrinkle. Burning is amazing. Influenced my love of effects.
Yes.
Also in the Maniac, the one time you actually see him, it's in the reflection in the car, and it's the old poster, which is like my favorite poster. It's super sleazy, and
It's so good.
you have to really look. I guess you don't have to really look. You can kind of see it, but with the head there, and it's got like the slight bulge in the pants. It's very
That is
nasty.
one of my favorite horror posters for sure. I think that's why that one I was so drawn to it when I was younger, because I was like, "What is this trash? Like it is
Exactly.
so gross."
When me and my friend went to see Maniac, the original one, they were showing it 35 millimeter at the Coolidge, and there was this giant line. I was so excited. I was like, all these people here to see Maniac. And so we're standing in line, and they're like, anybody here to see Maniac come up front? Everyone else here to see it was Texas, not Tech, it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, and I was like, oh, this sucks. Like, five of us are here to see Maniac, and like 100 people are here to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh,
But
that's so funny.
but there's something there is like the old, even if I've seen them a million times, watching an old movie in the theater on original 35 millimeter, it's is very special.
It's my favorite thing in the world. I am from Rochester, New York, where Eastman Kodak is from. So we have Kodak Film, and we have amazing, amazing little art house cinemas. And we have Quentin Tarantino keeps a huge portion of his collection here in Rochester in
Oh,
our
I
movie
didn't know that.
vaults. And so, a lot of the time when they're screening movies in 35 millimeter, we're watching Quentin Tarantino's personal copy of it because he
Oh, that's
allows them to
wild.
use it in the theaters. But that is such a beautiful thing. And I feel so fortunate that I've been able to kind of develop my love of film in a community that is so rich in their love of film, because we really do have amazing people here who still care about the idea of cinema and how wonderful that is.
Yeah, and I know during the pandemic, like the theaters I go to, it was a real possibility they were going to close down because people couldn't go to them, and fortunately they stayed open because when those theaters close, they don't reopen. Someone doesn't buy them
No.
and like I'm going to rebuild this theater. They close and they become a CVS or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Our old theaters all became sex shops here.
Well, that's better than a CVS, like, or depending on your point of
Yeah.
view, I guess.
An interesting crowd.
Yeah. I did see that because I've seen you share the theater, like they do a lot of what is the theater that you were talking about there? Because I saw that you
So
shared that like you guys do a lot of free like screenings.
So I actually do free screenings at a place called Fatty Beer Co. So it's just actually a bar and we just show stuff on a projector. It's
Oh,
really
cool.
fun.
That's cool.
We
Yeah.
do it every Tuesday night here in Rochester at Fatty Beer Co. And it's just all of us sitting around kind of Mystery Science Theater 3000 style, yelling at the screen and making fun of movies. And so it's a really fun experience to be able to do that. But we have this the George Eastman Theater is actually called the Dryden, and they still do amazing film screenings all the time. It's a really, really beautiful theater that is truly incredible. And we also have The Little, which is another theater that's actually going under some renovations, I think, for a second time coming up soon. And so it's nice to see these little art house theaters that are still screening things like this get to still continue living in their heyday, even though so many people don't go to the actual movie theater anymore.
Yeah. So actually, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, if people are in the Boston area, it's actually showing Friday and Saturday at Brookline and at the Coolidge Corner in 35 millimeter. So people should go check that out. I am glad that people they show the midnight movies there every weekend, and they usually get a good turnout, which I'm happy about.
Yeah, that's great.
Or they also show The Room a lot, which I honestly don't really get the fascination with The Room. I just think it's kind of bad. I don't really think it's very entertaining.
I hate The Room, and I get
I
yelled at
kind
a
of
lot
do
for
too, to
that.
be honest.
I hate The Room, but I love Birdemic. There's plenty of shit movies
Oh
that I
yeah,
that I love.
Troll
Like
Two. Troll Two, I think, is like the best of for me.
Troll
For
2 is incredible. The Best Worst Movie, the documentary about it, is
oh yeah,
incredible. Like there are so many good movies. I never thought that The Room was like. I understand that Tommy Wiseau is like a interesting person to be enchanted by, but I just never thought that the movie was anything
yes,
that
yeah.
laughable.
My friend Annabelle and I we went to see I don't know what movie it was, some silly horror movie, and it was a midnight movie. We came out, and the big room, everyone's going crazy, and they're throwing forks, and there was like beach balls, and we're like, "What the hell is this?" And it was The Room, and I knew of it, but I never seen it, and so we went to see it. It was probably not the way to see it for the first time because you can't hear the movie; everyone's just yelling and throwing stuff. But I was like, this is just kind of bad and sort of depressing. Like I don't really I don't really see why this is so fantastic.
People love it.
Oh yeah, so I'm happy that people go see anything,
Yeah.
and have a good time. They show Rocky Horror Picture Show every Saturday, in Boston, and they do the live shadow cast, and people come out and have a good time.
I hate Rocky Horror also. That's another one that I really hate. I know
I
I get
actually,
I have horrible taste. I have
no,
horrible
no,
taste.
I actually like the first like 45 minutes or so, and then I think it really just goes down. I don't like the ending at all when like they're aliens, and not to
Oh,
spoil a Rocky Horror Picture
I
Show for
hate
anybody out
that
there.
movie. I hate that
Are you
movie.
a fan of musicals? Or
I am. I am
okay,
actually. So if you have to ask me about musical, I mean there are plenty of musicals that I absolutely love. I love Hedwig and the Angry Inch is one of my
mm.
all-time favorite movies. I think it's incredible. I've seen John Cameron Mitchell perform it on Broadway. I am a big fan of musicals in general, both live and in film format. Rocky Horror just does not do it for me at all.
Fair enough. Yeah, what would be your favorite horror musical?
Oh, I don't know if this counts, but does Cannibal the Musical count?
Oh, I'm
Does
sure I
that
love it.
does
So
does that count? It's a kind of horror. It's a little bit horror.
yeah,
Um, I love that movie so much. I could watch that movie. I sing the songs all of the time to myself constantly. It's amazing. What a great movie.
I love it. The first just the first musical I ever saw as a musical, not the movie, was with Audrey too. I can't think.
Oh,
A Little Shop of
Little
Horrors.
Shop of Horrors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I saw the actual musical play when I was in California, and that was like so amazing to watch. It was the ending's a little different. Like they have like giant like plants fall into the audience, and it was just a really wild
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah. And great music too.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
a
yeah. That's another one that it can sing all the music to, all the songs to.
that's I can't remember one of the I can't remember the guy's name right now that does the music in that, but he also did like Little Mermaid and stuff. He very
Right. Yeah.
talented. Very, very
Yeah.
talented.
I'm a big fan of that. Probably a Dentist song's my favorite,
Yeah. Oh yeah,
but I
that
like
song
it.
is amazing. Amazing.
Let's see. My brother here, Terrible Troy. What about Sweeney Todd? Sweeney Todd's amazing too.
I love Angela Lansbury. So Angela Lansbury performed in Sweeney Todd, and you can get recordings of her performing it on Broadway. That is one of the best things I've ever seen is her in Sweeney Todd. Watch that version. I'm not actually a fan of the Tim Burton, Johnny Depp, whatever the
Hmm.
heck. It was fine, but that was a musical that I really like. I had a lot of heart, and they changed some of the songs around, and they didn't include some songs, and so I was a little disappointed with the movie. But I know
Yeah,
other people really liked it.
I saw a really small stage performance of it at this little like theater, and it was great. Like they didn't really have much in the way of like production value, but they used just the whole theater. They walked around like they were walking around a city, and you really got lost in it. It was a really good time.
Yeah.
And then when I was in England the first time in London, we went to Fleet Street, and there was a place that sold meat pies. I was like, well, I have to get a meat pie on Fleet Street.
Yeah, you have to. How can you
Yeah,
not?
it was good too. It was an apricot lamb meat pie.
Human.
At least that's what they told me, right?
Yes.
There was also a barber shop. I almost got a hair. I had hair at the time, so I almost got a haircut. Best, yeah, Mrs. Lovett. All right. Okay. So, Good Boy. We highly recommend it, and it's playing select theaters right now. I saw it's actually playing at a theater near me, Regal in Kingston. But look it up for people out there because you should support, independent film if you want like interesting indie horror movies, indie horror movies, especially with Indy the dog.
With Indy the dog. Yes.
Yeah, you should go see him because if people don't go see them, they're not going to play more of them. So if you go see them, they'll continue to play these cool, weird movies.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely highly recommend. And I think it's going to be on Shudder in a couple of days also,
Yeah.
right? Yes. But I agree. Neal, you are 100% right. Everybody go see it in the theaters. This is one you are not going to want to miss in the theaters if it is screening around you because it is so stunningly beautiful. If it screens near me, I 100% will be going to see this in the theaters, even though I've already watched it.
Yeah. So yeah, my brother's out here, Troy. If you wanna go see Good Boy, I would go see it in the theater with you. And happy birthday to our mom. Actually, our mom's birthday is here in 3 days.
Happy early birthday.
Yeah. So where can people find you, Cayley?
They can find me on YouTube at Once Over with Cayley, Cayley. And I do movie reviews over there. Hopefully, I'll have you on sometime. I might try to convince you to come talk about movies that you hate, or maybe I'm going to make you watch The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, Her Lover. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it.
All right. Yeah, I'd be up for anything like that.
Yeah, I do movie reviews over there. Sometimes I talk about our crazy world of the Dabbleverse, which it seems like some people, based on the super chats you've been getting, are aware of that are listening. So I've been covering some lawsuit-related stuff over there, which has been really exciting. And yeah.
Yeah, my like long-term fans are always confused if I bring it up on any of my pod. They're like, "What is he talking about?" So I try not to, but I'm not against it. I just like I don't know. It's a horror movie show. I'm not. I don't even know why I'm involved, to be honest, at times. But I've got sucked into it, and sometimes I try. I get out of it, then I get sucked back in. So I'm like a fringe player, I would say, in the Devil.
Yeah, it's hard to not get sucked back in once you've been in it.
Yeah, yeah. I have a good time, but me and you, when we chat, it's always about horror movies or movies in
Yes,
general. It's not
yes, the
Dabbleverse
best
related.
thing to talk about.
Yeah, yeah. It was actually what happened was I was watching because when people do so I was on Center and John show. It was on Shuli Network. I actually enjoy watching people talk about me. I guess I'm an egomaniac, whatever. But I find it I find it entertaining. So I was in the chat and I'm listening, and then someone asked you about your favorite '80s horror, and you said Pieces, and I was like, oh, she's an actual horror fan. She's not. She didn't say some run of the mill movie, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I think I like her now. So not that I disliked you before, but I didn't
I won you over because of TSN. So I guess
exactly.
that's a good thing that Shuli did, since I can tell that your audience loves him so much.
Right. Thanks. Kelly's voice is the best. I'm jealous. She has a nice voice too. EW.
Thank you.
But yeah, you do have a very good voice, by the
Thank you.
way. You're welcome. All right. Anything else you would like to plug?
This has been such a pleasure. I am excited. I'm going to just say this because I'm so excited about it. I'm excited to be going to see the screening at, tell me what it's called again, Bell. I don't
Coolidge
remember what it's called.
Corner. Coolidge
Yes.
Corner Theater. So yeah.
You say the things that I want. You know what I want to talk about. Crispin Glover is what I'm trying to do right now, and
Yeah,
I'm
the new
failing at it.
Crispin Glover movie. No, you're wrong. And that's so yeah. So people don't know the tour starts tomorrow, I think, and then it's running for the next couple of months, and he's going to be in the Boston area, Brookline, and it's going to be. I helped set this up. I was very excited about this at the Brookline Theater, Coolidge Corner Theater in Brookline. Near people just say Boston, but I don't want to go on a tangent. But everyone calls every city around Boston within like within like an hour that it's all Boston. It's not, but whatever. It's a Boston area, and uh, and so he's gonna be playing there. And Kelly's gonna come out, and we're gonna see the movie. And
Yes.
it's not just a
Very
movie
excited.
though. It's a movie. He's gonna do like a live, not a stage play, but like I don't know exactly what it is. I think he's got some about his book and like pictures, and he tells stories, and then a Q&A. I think it's like a 4 or 5 hour event. So I'm very excited about this.
Yeah, I am too.
And we'll have fun in Boston. There's cool stuff to do. I have a
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre board game. I'm a board game guy, but yeah, we don't have to play board games, but I like board games. And there's good food. It's a good time. You've been to Somerville Theater, I've heard.
I have been to Somerville Theater, and actually, I was just in Boston, proper Boston, not one of the surrounding areas, with Who Are These Podcasts? So I actually just
Oh
got to
yeah,
spend
that's
a little
great.
bit of time around there, which was absolutely amazing.
Where was that? Was that the Wilbur? Or?
It was I think it was at a city winery. I always mix up the names of all the places.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't remember. Things
I probably wouldn't
after
know
I've
anyway.
seen them and then existed with them, I forget about them.
Fair enough. All right. Well, it's been really cool, and you're welcome back anytime. We could review stuff,
Thank you.
or where our regular show's Thursday with my brother Troy, Tara Hutchinson from New Village Video, and director cousin AJ. We usually have guests on, so yeah. Or we can review I don't know if there'll be another dog movie, but we could review some other movie that comes out. Or
There's so many already exist. Oh, you know another good dog? The dog in Stalker. That's another really good dog and a long movie. No, I want to say thank you so much for having me on. This was a true pleasure. It was an honor to be able to talk about Good Boy with you. So thank you very much.
yeah, I'm glad it happened to be a good movie.
Yeah.
Good boy, good movie. All right, and I'm
Yes.
going to play us out with the. Now, Kaylee and I don't like to watch trailers, but we've already seen the movie. But we're going to play us out with the trailer for Good Boy. And thanks all the folks from Good Boy for hooking us up. Good night, everybody.
time next, I shall never come here.